What's going on, guys? I'm Tristan Durand and this is my Yamaha Virago that I'm transforming into a Café racer. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, well, welcome back. On the last video, we put the front end from the Yamaha R6 on the frame of the Virago, so it's mechanically sound, but I'm still missing a few things to button up that entire front end. I'm missing a throttle, I'm missing the switch assembly with the start button, I'm missing on the other side, the other switch assembly with the blinkers, the clutch lever, the handle, and then the ignition switch and the headlight, maybe a horn, blinkers, all of that. Then that's what we're gonna do today. And let's not forget the kickstand, because the bike is on it right now and you can see how straight it is. It's about to fall. So I need to shorten the kickstand and do some welding. I wanna start with the simple things like the throttle, the switches on both sides, the clutch lever, the ignition switch, because when I've got all of that positioned on the front end, it's gonna be easier for me to position my headlight, do some fabrication, make my bracket and all that, to have a really good Café racer look. So let's get to work. I was taking the switch assemblies from the OEM front end on the Virago and I noticed that some parts were rusted, so I put them in rust remover. It's gonna stay there for like 2 hours minimum. So meantime, what I'm gonna take care of is the kickstand. So I don't really know how much I need to shorten that kickstand. What I did now is I removed the flat at the bottom of the kickstand and I measured it. The thickness here is around 7 to 8 millimeters depending on where I measure. So that means that the length of the kickstand when it touches the ground is shortened by 7 to 8 millimeters. I just tried on the bike. I feel like it's not enough. I still need to remove a little bit. Maybe the sweet spot is 10 millimeters, I'm not sure, but this is what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna remove 3 millimeters more here, try it on the bike and see how it goes. So I really took my time and went step by step to cut the kickstand. So that's what it looks like right now. I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then this is 30 millimeters that I cut from the kickstand, 3 centimeters. The flat right here, I put it really flat. I removed everything so it's super smooth. So I got my marks here and here, and I got the same over there on the kickstand. So I know how to position my kickstand on the flat when I'm about to weld. So I got the right position and I'm not doing anything that when it's finally on the bike doesn't look as good as I want. So I'm gonna get the welder and get on welding. And it actually went really good. Even though I'm very new to welding, welding on steel is pretty easy to me. So I was doing my beads, my kickstand is done, I did the priming, the paint, the clear coat. Now the clear coat has to cure. Honestly, the paint is the most time I spent on that project. It's not even the welding, it's the painting. So I'm gonna wait for that to cure, and meantime what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take care of the controls here. So we talked about the switch assemblies and I was removing some rust on some of the parts. This is done. So I'm gonna put those switch assemblies on the handlebars. They're right here. And I'm gonna hook everything up. And when that's done, I think I'm gonna put the ignition switch on the triple tree and then get on moving. And the throttle, choke and clutch are all hooked up on the bike. But when you look at it from the side, you can see those cables are really protruding from the front of the bike right here, especially this one, that is the clutch cable. So it's just too long now. We used to have handlebars on the Virago that were pretty high up, so you need to reach those levers all the way up here. And now with the clip-ons, we got that look that I love with the clip-ons really low on the bike, but we don't need that length anymore. So we're gonna need to shorten the cables. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to do the same for the throttle right here, definitely for the clutch, maybe the choke, but that's something that I'm gonna do on another video, not this one. Stay tuned for this. I recommend subscribing to the channel or at least liking the video. It really helps me. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take care of the ignition switch. It's on the Virago triple clamp. I hope it fits on the R6 triple clamp, but we're gonna find out. So that wasn't too bad. I got my ignition switch on the R6 upper triple clamp right here. The big difference between the Virago and the R6 is really the center to center distance for those two bolts here on the ignition switch. So the R6 is a little bigger and the Virago is a little smaller. So I just had to file a little bit, nothing major, and it looks like that right now. It's very easy, 5 minutes. The thing is, when I want to tighten those bolts, if I do it all the way, it's gonna bring my ignition switch sticking out a lot on that triple clamp. Not a look I want. I really want something that not completely flush, but maybe like 1 or 2 millimeters, kind of like this right here. So when it's like that, you can tell there's a big gap here, and that's where I need to have spacers. I don't have the tubing I need for that right now, so I'm going to order the tubes. I'm going to cut them to length to make myself some spacers on each side, and then we're going to be good. But right now, we got everything situated on the front end right here. So it's going to help me to then position my headlight, and I got a special one. So you see I have a rally car light. I think it's gonna look amazing when that's finished on the bike. The reason why I picked this one is because it is very, very thin. So it allows me to really put it between the tubes on the front end of the bike. So it's recessed and I think it looks really neat like that. So I have right now a bracket right here and I need an interface between that bracket and my lower triple clamp. And that's what I'm gonna make. That's my fabrication I need to make. And I'm gonna use this as a mock-up. So this is just cardboard and I can kind of bend it and it's easy to cut with just scissors. So I'll make a mock-up of the bracket I want to make. When that mock-up is done, that means I can cut my aluminum and do my fabrication, my welding, and then put the headlight on the front end. Let's go ahead and do that. And that's when I realized I forgot something. So I went a little too fast. I forgot the front brake line extension on that bracket. The black part you see on the screen right now is the OEM Yamaha R6 bracket to hold the horn and the front brake line. So I need to put this extension on my mock-up. That's the reason why I make a second mock-up right here. It's going to be very fast and then I'll be able to hold my front brake line. And then you see me here holding the front brake line close to the extension just to make sure I got the right angle. So now I've got my mock-up and I'm ready to cut the aluminum. And that's what it is. So this is aluminum, it's pretty thick, it's 0.1 inch thickness. I'm very happy with what it looks like right now, but I need to bend it, and I never bent anything that thick before. I have a brand new metal brake, it's still in the crate. I need to unpack it and see if it can bend that, because I think it's for thinner material. So let's try. Yes. Oh, I'm gonna have to weld because it's breaking it. Oh wow. Oh, it's okay. Huh. Not expected. And that's great news, that small brake bends that type of aluminum. I will definitely remember that for the future because I'm gonna have some bending to do. But I had a small accident on that extension right here to hold the brake line, the front brake line on the forks, while that broke off. So I'm basically trying to do the same as the OEM bracket. This is steel and that looks like that right here. So I'm gonna keep the same angle between the two, this and this, and I'm gonna weld them on the aluminum part right here. So let's set up the welder. The welding went so fast. The last time I welded aluminum was cast aluminum on the frame of the Yamaha R1. Before that was cast aluminum on the crankcase of the Yamaha R1. So this here on clean aluminum was so easy, so fast. I'm surprising myself. So I'm very happy with that. You can see that I polished it. So on the outside, you don't even see it was welded. It is beautiful, very strong. Now you know the trick. I'm gonna prime, paint in black matte, then I'm gonna apply my matte clear coat, and then we can put it on the front end. And the bracket is now cured. Look at this. So I hope you can see the texture on the paint job. What I do is I mist my clear coat many different times. It's a lot of coats, but they're not full coats, very wet. It's really just a mist on the part, and it achieves that type of texture at the end. You see all those peaks and valleys on it. I think it makes the part very interesting to look at. It's not a boring flat. Sometimes I love flat, but on this one I wanted something very interesting, and I think I've got it. So it's ready to go on the bike and put the headlight on it. Before we do that though, I remember that I had some comments on the last video saying that because I lowered the front end of the bike with that smaller wheel and the shorter forks, that my rake, the caster angle on the frame, must be too steep now, and that my bike is going to be very nervous. And I don't know, I need to measure that. What I do know is that the Yamaha Virago out of the factory is at 29 degrees on the rake. So let's measure it now. Okay, so it used to be 29 degrees. Now I'm gonna put my protractor on the steering column right here. And how much do we have? We are at 24.9. Let me change the spot. Here, 24.95, 24.9. 24.9. All right, so it really looks like we're around 24 and 25, very close to 25 degrees. Just as a reference, the Yamaha R1 and R6, since the inception, have 24 degrees rake. So basically what we're saying is like, it's not too steep, it's very good, it's slightly more open than a sport bike. I got the front end of a sport bike, the R6, so I'm gonna have a behavior that's very good and very like a sport bike. This is all theory, because the rest of the bike is very different. The weight distribution on the bike is different, but it's good to know. Like, it's not alarming. I've got a good rake angle. I didn't know how much I had, and now I do. So what I can do now is I can put my bracket with the headlight on. Oh yeah. So it used to be just an idea in my head, and now I see the headlight on the bike. It's so spot on with the look I want to have on that bike. I am glad I made that choice. So to finish it off, I'm gonna put the kickstand on the bike. You've got to love when things go so well. So the headlight and the kickstand are on the bike, and this is exactly what I wanted to do today. So I still have a lot of work to do on that bike. Electricity, tank, rear end. That's a lot of things, and that's going to be on other videos. I'm very happy with my welding. I feel like it's slowly getting better, which is encouraging because I'm going to have so much welding to do on all the other projects. If you want to see that, you should consider subscribing to the channel, activate your post notification. This way you know when I post a new video. If you like this video, well, like the video. I see you in the next one, and meantime, keep building.